Hey everybody, sorry that we're not going to be able to meet over Zoom today like we had been scheduled to do so. I've got some pre-planned appointments that I got to go to today, but I'll be seeing you on Zoom tomorrow, Friday, December 4th. I'm going to run through a couple things that I need you to do today as far as your in-class work goes. So we're going to be talking about a specific topic here this week, which you've probably noticed, which is the civil rights of the progressive era, and how the U.S. government didn't push for it. In fact, in many ways, they kind of pushed against it still, and how it was up to individuals, private citizens, to fight for it. This front page here, it's showing you're going to have a test next week. You may have seen you have a review guide on Schoology for next week. I'll talk about that in a moment. One thing I do want to address real quick is some background info, and that is the term Jim Crow. Jim Crow refers to the culture, the era, the legal structure that made racial segregation by law common throughout the American South and throughout the entire nation, to be honest. It wasn't just relegated to the South. We'll talk more about Jim Crow in an upcoming unit in our Civil Rights Movement unit for some background info, but I just wanted you to be aware that that's the world that our individuals that we're going to be studying about this week are living in, an era of legal racial segregation. So I'm going to take you here to Schoology, go to your U.S. history page, Unit 3, Progressive Era, Week 13, Civil Rights in the Progressive Era. Going to go through your online work. Online work is all online work. But you have a reading here, Booker T. Washington. We talked about him in our Square Deal activity. And another individual, W.E.B. Du Bois. And their differing ideologies and opinions on how to fight for civil rights. You have a quick write that goes with that. Make sure you get that done by Thursday at midnight. There's also a reading dealing with their specific pushes for civil rights, the Atlantic Compromise from Booker T. Washington, and then W.B. Du Bois's response to it, the Niagara Movement. You have a knowledge check that goes along with that. That's it for your work outside of today's in-class activities, because it's a short week, it's a weird week, and also here is a review guide. Make sure you go through our materials from the past few weeks, jot this down. Here it is for you to download if you choose. That'll be your study guide. Another way you can study is using these crash course videos. Again, there's no assignment to submit. What I recommend is you get a piece of lined paper, start the video. Every time the host mentions something we've discussed, pause the video, jot it down, start the video back up. Now you have another study guide for your test next Wednesday, December 9th. All right, today's activity. We talked about muckrakers a few weeks ago. We talked about investigative journalists who sought to expose the ugly, the seedy underside of society. Upton Sinclair going against what he felt was capitalism run amok. Jacob Riis showing the immigrant poor and how they've been neglected. Today we're going to be looking at Ida B. Wells. Sorry, that's the assignment. Ida B. Wells was a muckraker. There she is. You'll see it as Ida B. Wells Barnett. That's her married name, but you will often just see her listed as Ida B. Wells with her maiden name. So Ida B. Wells was a muckraker. She was an investigative journalist fighting against racial inequality and racial injustice and the heinous crimes perpetrated against African Americans during this time period. So I want you to read this. It's called a listicle. It's an article, but it's a list of items, 9 things you must know. Read through these, and then your assignment, pretty straightforward here. What's one important thing? Put it into your own words. Don't just copy what was in the article. What's another important thing into your own words? And then save your most important one for last. What is one final, most important thing about Ida B. Wells that you've learned? So that's all that I have for you guys here today. Again, sorry I can't meet with you correctly over Zoom, but tomorrow all A students, all B students will meet in our scheduled time frame for this week, and we'll talk about what Tier 1 will look like moving forward for next week, and we'll do a little bit of review and practice preparing you for your test. All right, feel free to reach out over email or Schoology Messenger. Bye.